Victory. Fatality.
What's going on YouTube? I'm Jonathan FORFITZ, and today I'm going to bring you guys some thoughts on what if they never created the teleportability in Diablo 2. So I was actually asked by a viewer over a week ago my thoughts on removing the teleportability from the entire game. He said because it essentially promotes and allows players to skip content, and in return it hurts class balance for every other character in the game when it comes down to magic finding. To be honest with you, I've never really thought about it much until he mentioned it down in the comments section of my video. Now, I kinda shrugged his comment off because I thought it was a problem that I believed was already solved through itemization in the game. I'm sure the developers over at Blizzard North already felt it would be hugely unfair to allow just one character in the game, that being the sorceress, to only skip content. So they kinda resolved this problem by including +1 to teleport on certain items within the game to create some sort of class balance. Anyways, a few days go by and I get to thinking about this topic again. What if they had not added the teleportability in Diablo 2? It would essentially do exactly what this player said, create more of a game balance in the early stages without itemization. I started really thinking about everything that would possibly change in the game. Would this change the areas of where players magic find? Maybe players would be farming zones instead of bosses. Let's say we wake up tomorrow and Blizzard decided to remove the ability from the entire game. Mind you guys, we haven't got an update in many years, and with Blizzard's track record lately, I don't think they're just going to come back to remove teleport from the game. So this is clearly going to be hypothetical, and yes, it's an early season April Fool's joke. Unlike Diablo Immortal. Anyways, so some of the early on improvements that we would probably notice would be most of the bots in the game would need to be reprogrammed again. Now, that isn't such a bad thing, is it? However, to reprogram a bot again, it surprisingly isn't a hard thing to do. I used to program one back in my good old days of cheating before going legit. In return, I got every single item I could ever imagine in the game. And then the game became really boring to play, and that's why I stopped botting altogether. And now I would rather just use my time in the game to farm items legitimately. Honestly though, isn't that the whole reason why we buy video games in the first place? Is to not have a program do our work for us? It just seems kinda pointless to buy into a game if you're not going to play it. Anyways, that's another discussion for another day, and we're getting a little bit off topic. The most interesting thing that stood out to me would be the botted games on Battle.net. Would they still be a thing? Now, the only reason players join these types of games has to do with gaining the experience much faster from Chaos and Throne. By removing teleport, it would essentially change the pattern of power leveling, wouldn't it? It would probably most definitely bring back some walk to bail games, that's for sure. I'm almost sure players would come up with some sort of stupid code to allow paladins charge for skipping, or something like that. Oh no, flashbacks of walking to bail. I'm sure when Blizzard North was theory crafting the idea for having teleport, they only had good intentions. In future Blizzard games such as World of Warcraft and Diablo 3, we've often seen the perfection of this type of ability through cooldowns or some sort of charge system. The problem is that Diablo 2 rarely utilized this. They only used it on certain items within the game. Maybe it was because of the time era of when the game came out in, who knows. Now, do I think removing the ability could essentially balance the game out more? It's a really good question, and I truly believe if the ability had some sort of cooldown, the sorceress would not be the best starter character in the beginning of ladder in Diablo 2. I'm almost positive that players would venture into using other classes at the start. In the current state that the game is in right now, it's like if I don't make a sorceress at the beginning of ladder, I won't be able to manipulate the game to get good gear. Now, the game is most likely going to remain in the state it is in now, and I guess I'm okay with that, because you can still solve the problem through itemization. It's definitely a good topic, and I would like to hear some of your guys' opinions on this. Anyways, I want to thank Midgard for the question, and hopefully I answered some of yours. Let me know down in the comments section below your guys' thoughts on this. Once again, YouTube, best of luck on magic farming, and may the odds ever be in your favor.